Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Meeting is now streaming live on YouTube.
Okay, it's already going ahead to live stream. Okay,
Just
fine.
let people in. Let's
Just see if it's recording. Go on to YouTube live because all this is getting recorded now.
Yes, it's 6:59. So I think you should just let people in.
Okay, I'll test it on YouTube. Hang on.
Good evening, Abhijit.
Hey, can you hear me? Oh.
Request people
Vegetable is coming now? Or? Huh? Lemon?
Hi, Abhijit. Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Oops, sorry. I think my video is off.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hello, good evening, Abhijit. Very
Hi,
good.
how are you, Rashmi?
I'm good, thank you. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Good evening, everyone. Payal here.
Hi, Payal.
Payal.
Good evening, Payal. Great to hear your voice after a long time. Good evening, Abhishek. Good evening, Anji.
Hi.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, hi, Vivek.
Good evening,
Good
Rashmi.
evening.
Hi, MG. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Winston.
Hi,
Sir.
hi, Rekha.
Hi.
How
Hi,
are you?
Dr. Winston. Good. I'm just making sure the technicalities are done.
As always.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Krishnan from ICF Chennai.
Oh,
Hi,
hi, Krishnan. Welcome.
Hi, Abhijit. Good to see
Hi.
you here.
Hi,
How are you?
Abhijit.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for having me here. It's nice to be here.
Hello, Sushma.
Rekha, we all have to be at our very best. There is Christian from ICF Chennai chapter. So he is,
Okay.
all Bangaloreans thoda khayal rakhna.
Okay. Mindful of the time. Do I have the green signal, Rekha?
Okay.
Just let
Yes.
people in.
Yes.
Just see if it's recording. Go on to YouTube live because all this is getting recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
going
so
to
I think you should
YouTube
just
now.
let people
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll test it on YouTube.
in. Good evening, Abhijit.
Hi. How are you, Usha?
Okay. Shakespeare had said, "What's in a name?" Well, we today are going to play the game. While I drop major clues for you to guess, sit back, listen, and make progress. Okay, so we are starting the evening formally. A very, very warm welcome to you and good evening. What is hope but a feeling of optimism? A thought that says things will improve. It won't always be bleak, and there's a way to rise above the present circumstances. Quote by Wayne Dyer, which is so true for the hope and optimism we move into 2021. 2 months almost coming to a close. We are on the 22nd of February. And to make sure that everyone here who's made it on time has the best of this evening, and to also keep up our promise of keeping it and finishing it by 8 o'clock, we press the green right now. Our theme for our magazine is Hope and Optimism. On behalf of Bangalore ICF chapter, warm welcome from me, Rashmi Shetty. Good to see all of you. And in keeping with the mood of 2021, vaccine around, hopes are high. Life slowly getting back, but then the fears also abound. So we have our hope. We are optimistic this time far more because we know somewhere we can handle it when it hits us, if at all there's a second wave. So, who else but better than the dawn to explain hope to us? Dawn, as in DAWN and not DON.
Thanks for clarifying.
Fittingly handing it over to the rising sun amongst us. Usha, the stage all yours.
Thank you, Rashmi. And what an introduction. I would like to welcome Abhijit Baduri, our special guest for today's magazine launch.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's a real pleasure. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I don't know what just happened. Just give me a second. Abhijit, you were really, really generous, and you have shared a lovely sketch note today on the theme Hope and Optimism. I think you have about 12,000 views on it already, and we are not surprised. Tell us a little bit about what is it that comes to your mind when you think about hope and optimism.
Right. Thanks. Thanks a lot, Rusha. Thank you very much for having me here. And, so what I thought, I wrote about what is it that the coach really brings to the table. And I just thought with the sketch note, I would trigger a conversation about this big myth that, the coach has to be an expert who has scaled a bigger height. So it is, the model of mountaineering, as I would describe it, that somebody who's already climbed Everest is the only one who can help me become a mountaineer, is the kind of an assumption that people have. And so I read, in the article I wrote that, if Roger Federer has a coach, he's already number one. It's pretty unlikely that, he's going to find anybody better than him to be a coach. But then what does he look for? And that, I think, is the model that I would sort of use and say that the coach really brings in the ability to work with the person, not, not the problem. So the problems will keep shifting. So it is really this element where, it allows him or her to be a co-creator in that client's or coachee's journey. So that's really what I wanted to share.
When you say co-creator, when you say partnership, you really talk to the hearts of coaches, because that's the spirit that we bring to that relationship and that conversation. Can anyone have a coach, Abhijit, and what can a coach offer people in the coaching process? What's your take on that?
So, I think there are a couple of different things that the coaches value add, for example, for an organization, the coach actually helps the organization in its goal, whatever is the journey that they are really going in. But fundamentally, the model is the same, that you co-create the path and sort of you shape the outcomes together with, the client system. And so I kind of use the word hope and optimism. In some sense, it's, what one would say is Snyder's hope theory, where he talks about three elements. One is that you have a sort of a really focused, sharp thought about what you want to achieve. You want to sort of really look at the strategies that you are going to help to achieve that. And three is the motivation that, is going to help the person achieve that particular path. The methodologies can change because, sometimes it's really about reframing, sometimes about, asking a question that really gets the person to get uncluttered in their mind. So there can be multiple methods. So that's really the role that the coach plays.
Mm. And what is the value add that a coach brings to the organization? I see that in your sketch note.
There are multiple ways in which the organization very often has, first of all, being able to understand the value that coaching can bring. I personally think that is the real big opportunity that the coaches can play, because yes, there are individuals who sort of get coached, and today it is something that gets given to the real high potential people, 3-4 people or a handful of people, really, let's put it like that. But I think the opportunity is, it's unfair because today, the opportunities are getting redefined for practically anybody in the workspace. And so unless we create a scenario where this coaching opportunity is available to a much larger people, will be really, I think employers will be missing out the opportunity to tap into human potential. So I just think that that's for me the biggest possibility.
I think as coaches, we are all working really to reach out to more and more people and provide this opportunity to everybody. So, what is the most important change that we can bring about as coaches in organizations and for people?
I think when you look at organizations always think about every intervention in the form of a return on investment. So there is always this whole thing that what is it doing to the business, and therefore if we sort of keep that perspective in mind, it makes it easier for the organization to start adopting it as a legitimate thing which can be scaled up. So while a lot of people have dipped their toes in the water, I think the real opportunity lies in scale up. So you can't just remain a dreamer anymore. You just have to be able to take on a much larger chunk and make it available. So I think that's the opportunity for me.
So scaling is important. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. And the only way people can sort of experience the joy of scaling when you work with a coach. So that's really what people do. That you're able to do far more than where you started, or what your own belief about what you could have done. So that is really what I've seen happen, to people who are working with a coach. So
Right.
that I think is the opportunity.
Live life larger.
Absolutely.
Abhijit, thank you so much for coming in. I know you are on at SHRM right now, and we are really, really happy that you could make time to join us today as we launch this second edition of our magazine.
Thank you very much for giving me a chance to be here. And, it's just such a privilege. I hope you will give me a chance to come back and, connect again another time. But yes, I'm very deeply grateful that you thought of calling me. Thank you so much.
Very happy to have you as part of our journey, Abhijit, always.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Abhijit, even
Bye.
for those nuggets and for telling us how important it is to scale up and live life king size. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye. Okay, so now we move on to our guessing game. So thank you, Usha. Now, twinkle, twinkle, beautiful star, the world is waiting to see who you are. This project supported by the chapter, the ladies who draw the line, and the one who add brightness. So take a guess who are the two women who are going to talk about Tara. Any guesses? It's going to be the line, Rekha, and the brightness, Gauri. So if both of them are here, ladies, it's your time now.
So, Gauri, would you like to start, or would you want me to start?
Go ahead, Rekha. I wasn't expecting to be called, to be put on the spot like Rashmi did. So go ahead, Rekha.
Okay, so Tara has been a dream of more than 10 coaches coming together to provide coaching to be more accessible, affordable, and be available for women. And that's where we all started with a collective group together to work. And we've done, our journey has been great. The journey started in September. And in the last couple of months, we have coached more than 100 women in these journeys. And we also did an event in collaboration with the ICF chapter. And it's been an immensely fulfilling experience for us, for the experiment that we all started together. Over to you, Gauri, if you would like to add a few things to that.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Rekha. So let me see if I can. Yep. Hi, everyone. So thank you, Rashmi, for putting me on the spot. Really, I was not expecting it. But yeah, so Tara has been a great journey for all of us, like Rekha mentioned. And she mentioned the word experiment. So I would just like to touch upon that a little bit. So it's an experiment in shared and democratic leadership. So we don't have a leader. All of us are leaders. That's how we've been working since beginning. And that is how we have managed to do client engagements despite not saying that, okay, this person is the leader. And it has worked very well, surprisingly well, I would say. And there's been a lot of learnings in terms of what to do, what not to do. There have been people who were with us and who decided to say that, okay, this is not working for me. And we took that also democratically. We have had people who joined us saying that, yeah, we are excited by what you're doing and we would like to collaborate with you. We have had partners reach out to us saying that, you are one of the few group of women coaches working only with women. And so we would like to work with you because we see that passion and alignment of what you're trying to do. So yeah, we are very early in the journey, and we hope to cross a lot of more milestones. So in the article, we have just touched upon the early experiences of our journey. So we would love to hear from you all on what you think of it, and any thoughts, any suggestions on how we could take this forward and make an impact with a more number of women. We would really love to get those inputs from you also. Thank you.
You're done, Rekha? That's it?
Yes, and it gives us a lot of hope and to be optimistic to impact as many women as we can. So that's being hopeful and being optimistic for us.
Okay, so like the last time, for those of you who were here last time, the spotlight is put on the authors and contributors to the magazine. This time, there are a few of them who haven't made it because of reasons which are very personal. And whoever is here will be spotlighted. So maybe I should have said that in the beginning, Gauri, and that would have given you some time.
No worries. No worries. It's a group of friends, so not a problem.
Exactly. Yeah. Coming up next for you to guess, and I'm sure the lady herself will know who I'm talking about. Ray of light is what her name means. Her words are powerful beams to tell us what she thinks today of hope and optimism and all that are at play. So can you please unmute Rashmi Saran?
Thank you so much, Rashmi, my namesake. Ray of light. Yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, I have written a short story because I feel hope and optimism is the basis of life. So today I was given 1 or 2 minutes, so I'll try to keep it within that time, unlike the last time when I had the privilege of having more time. Okay, so I remember 2 incidents in my life which brought in a lot of optimism in my life, a lot of hope. So when I was a small girl, I was a very introvertish girl, and I had a lot of limiting beliefs, not very great self-image. And then one day, someone said that your smile is very beautiful. So I was very happy, and I started smiling more. So especially before a camera, I would surely smile. And as I started smiling, my confidence grew. And actually, I became quite optimistic and I changed a lot. So I believe that, even these small things make a lot of changes. The second incident, which I would like to share with you all, is in the year 2005. The day was 26th of July, 2005, and the place was Mumbai. Do you remember what happened? There was a huge flood. At that time, I had my younger daughter was just 6 months old. She just turned 6 months, and I was on my way from office. So we were all stranded whole night, and with a 6-month-old kid and an 8-year-old kid with a part-time caretaker, and that was one of the most maybe challenging times of my life, which I've seen, because a lot of lives were lost in that flood. However, somehow, that optimism wouldn't leave me and it stayed with me. I was sure I'll see my family, though I did see the next day afternoon, even though that means almost after 24 hours. So that really brought in a lot of belief that when I'm optimistic, things do turn around and things become good. So I thought I'll just share this and also share it that it is, so much to do with our inner conversation. What is the conversation we have? What is the awareness we have of the conversation we are having? Because life is embedded in hope and optimism. If there is no hope and optimism, I think there is nothing to look forward in life. Thank you, Rashmi. I hope I'm within my time frame.
No, now this time you have a little longer time frame because many authors haven't turned up. So it's okay. But thank you so much. Those words are beautiful, Rashmi, like always.
Thank you so much, Rashmi.
Okay, the next person, loud and clear, always with a ring of cheer. He comes along like Santa Claus without a reindeer. 2 alphabets is how he's introduced for short. Anyone here can join me to exhort who our next speaker is.
MG.
MG.
Yes, MG.
MG, you're on mute, I think.
I know. I was shocked how I couldn't hear MG.
This Santa doesn't get any gifts.
No, so sorry. I was speaking on the mute. Okay. This is two musings from my coaching diary, the last 5 years of my coaching, especially the last 1 year. I think the needle moved a lot for me, not from the dollars from the coaching, but through a lot of self introspection as to what was changing for me. Very interesting. Even if I say this, this may look a little funny to you all. One of the things that really made me stand out as my reflection is COVID. I thought who was probably the biggest optimism coach. Mask, hand wash, 6 feet distance days are now familiar to all of us. But if I look around the world, especially us in India, a country which is supposed to be having low health situations, poor hygiene, backward, 70% in rural areas, crowded, no discipline, people don't care for each other. We say all kind of things about ourselves. But if you look at people, how we have reacted, my own father, who's 91, who plays his bridge on with robots on iPad. My 86-year-old mother, who does advanced Sudoku, which is not numbers plus digits. Right now, she's working on the internet. And the first thing she does when she comes to my place in Bangalore is, hey, give me your Wi-Fi password. She never did that 1 year back, because 1 year back, she was on to Tirupukar classes, Veda classes, meeting people, attending sessions with Dayanand Saraswati and whatnot. What did the COVID do to them is new perspectives of choices, which is exactly what coaching does to people. Same problem, new perspective, new solutions, maybe new problems itself, everything new perspective. So I thought COVID was a brilliant coach from that angle. I did read an article about that hippie in those yesteryears saying, I would rather imagine who I could be rather than to learn about who I am today. Nobody wants to know who you are today. They all want to know how I can do better for myself in these days. So that optimism is no longer a trait, in my opinion, from what COVID has taught us. It has become a choice. You have a choice before you to bow down to COVID or to fight it and stay, not just survive very well. So I thought that was the learning, that optimism is something. You don't have to worry if your coachee has had that as a personality trait. Endless assessments need not be done to know that. If you and the coachee can help reflecting that this is a choice, then it does become a choice. That is one learning which I had. Second learning is, this has been bothering me a little bit about owning the client outcome. I don't want to talk too much about it because let the article say what it says. One of the engagements which I had with last year with a young CEO, taught me that, being a little over anxious about the client outcome could be a huge deterrent for you and not release the best in you as a coach, and therefore not release the best in the coachee. So I would rather not describe it. Maybe I would hear some feedback from all of you and see if this is right or if this is some different perspective. I would like to hear that. So these are two big reflections which I had, which are impacting my coaching stints. I'm trying to see how I can imbibe them in my future coaching. So happy reading. And I look forward to your very critical comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, MG. So unlike you to be so reflective, but nice to see this side of you as well. Okay, the next one is a little tough. Let's see whether you get this. Ethical is what his name means. Point blank is how he speaks. Crisp and concise, many see him as wise. That I'm doubtful though. The least he does is ever give advice. Can you guess who this is in our chapter? Can the man unmute and say, this is me? Well, surprise, surprise, Nitin, you there? This is your description. Nitin, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. And to be very frank, I did not know that my name means ethics. To be very frank.
Oh my God. Okay.
I did not know. So thanks for telling me that. This article that I wrote about is on unconditional love, to be precise. And even though in the article I've written the journey started in May 2015, but after that I was reflecting and I don't really know when this journey started. But it started, somewhere in 20th century, I'm sure. My ability to, so I've been very critical, as Rashmi said, I kind of speak my heart out. And my ability to be too critical kind of puts off people many a times. And I have been, as many of you been part of the corporate ladder, which teaches us to judge people and decide and put them in a category of performance, poor performance, good person, bad person. And I joined this organization called Pranic Healing in 2012. And one of the virtues that they taught us is called loving kindness and non-injury. And there is a whole book and things to talk about that. And this kind of continued to reinforce me in many situations, whether it is a small boy giving a biscuit to a dog out of no expectations, a stray dog, or to read a book where people are talking about seeking first to understand before understood, or in simple life situations where when I was not liking somebody and I changed my perspective to first accept that the person is genuine and start thinking about why would somebody be saying what she's saying and why would somebody be behaving like she is behaving or he is behaving. And that just put me on a thinking that everybody is right. And I guess that's the fundamental of our coaching as well, that everybody is right and everybody is capable. So how can I judge? How can I give a unconditional love to our coaches as well? And forget about coaches, everybody. And when I wrote this article first, I used some of the examples that Rashmi said don't use, and I'm not going to use that here either. But to go to an extreme and say, how do you love a terrorist? How can you extend the unconditional love to a terrorist who has probably murdered many people in his thought process that he's righteous in his own manner? And that kind of put me on the journey of, first of all, thinking, is it possible? And the idea seems utopian at first. But when you get onto the journey, every moment, when you reflect yourself and start realizing that the other person's perspective and extend that love, is a moment of bliss in itself. And I'm still on the journey. Probably the starting itself, I wouldn't say I've gone far, but it's a blissful journey and an exciting and hopeful journey that I will probably continue to tread on the path and not divert from here. That's all that I have to say. Journey on unconditional love is not an easy one, but a simple one. That's all that I would say.
And it is a matter of choice. So thank you, Nitin. Wise words, definitely. Okay, the next description, you should guess who the author is. The tinkling of its bells announces presence. When worn around the ankles, it's all but silence. Graceful and artistic is how you'd like to call her. Can the lady step forward and say what we should infer?
Payal.
Yeah, Payal.
Yeah, Rashmi, thank you for that. Thank you so much. A very good evening to everybody present here. As always, Rashmi, thank you for your bright presence and the good start and the endearing start to the launch of the second issue of the magazine. And a shout out to all of you who have done so much of work behind the scenes. So I think with the theme being hope and optimism, and the my article's highlight also being empathy and hope, the most appropriate mention that comes to my mind is that of Annie Frank. I think we have all read The Diary of a Young Girl in school. Annie Frank's story is a powerful and emotional one. Annie was a young woman with a strong heart, that was full of fierce optimism. She was a true example of what optimism stands for. Though her story is so sad, and she died in the concentration camp, but we see that how her spirit was so optimistic and hopeful. And one of the quotes that has always struck me, from her is, "I know what I want. I have a goal, an opinion. I have religion and love. Let me be myself, and then I'm satisfied. I know that I am a woman with inward strength and plenty of courage." This quote from her always inspires me to the core. And her unwavering hope, has created a widely read story that has inspired readers everywhere and deeply ingrained in the minds of future generations a very powerful narrative. Her story is full of courage and strength and is an inspiration for anyone facing adversity. And I think the most adverse times, what we have seen together, collectively in 2020. And how her spirit to stand for human rights. I mean, she herself would have not known what the ways that she has contributed to human rights. And the streak that, made her do was empathy. And an experience of empathy for the way she stands as a towering example for human rights. And for all of us, I think it's a testimony that what empathy, optimism, and hope can do, can achieve, and can inspire. So I think I'll keep it short at this note. And thank you so much for, including my little article in your magazine. I'm truly honored and very thankful.
Our magazine, Payal.
Yeah, our magazine. I'm so sorry. I think you rightly pointed that out. My bad. Yes, our work, our magazine, our inspiration. Yes.
No, anyway, we're going to continue to listen to you, Nitin and Sarah, next, because it's named after a deer, rare and fragrant, searching within itself, never complacent. What difference are you making? What are you taking? Please share with us your learning and tell us what was groundbreaking. So, Kasturi, as a project, Nitin, Sarah, Payal, time for you to share.
Rashmi, after your eloquent introduction, I mean, like you've just set the bar. How can we try and outdo that? But so beautiful that introduction is to the Kasturi program. It has been an amazing journey, which I keep on telling every time we meet. As a group, and whenever we touch base with Nitin and when we with Payal, we've been doing so many podcasts and all that. The last 6 months of this journey has been amazing, to say the least. I think when we started this program, we didn't realize the kind of, the impact that we would be able to drive. And the kind of stories that we have been part of through this journey has been so heartwarming. Each of the coaches, I mean, I know quite a few haven't been able to complete the journey, but a lot of these coaches have walked away talking about the kind of impact that their coaches, the development leaders had on the heart of the coaches itself, right? Because the kind of struggles, the kind of lives that they've had to go through, and then it didn't feel like as a coach we were giving more, and it felt like a partnership where we were learning so much from their lives. And when this the theme for it was shared with and we were talking about hope and optimism, the kind of the work that the development leaders were doing, and just us being those playing our role, how we were playing our how we were impacting those circles, those communities in our own way, was just something that we felt amazing about as a team. Also the way in which there was so much of collaboration and empowerment, and just like, okay, it's like throwing the ball and hoping somebody catches it. And a lot of it was and we'd call each other out saying that, okay, my hands are right now full, can you pick that up? So that kind of a vulnerability, where we say that, okay, this is where I have this, this is all that I can do. And that as we were running the program, that kind of in understanding of that human spirit, and just being that team camaraderie, and that thing was something that I felt really touched by. Payal and Nitin, over to you guys if you have anything more to add. I'm sorry I've taken a lot of the time.
I think I am blessed to have Sarah and Payal, who has taken off almost all the load, of Kasturi. And I'm, to be very frank, I'm investing very little time in Kasturi. But God bless, unconditional love again. It has been absolutely brilliant to have you guys on team, and I feel blessed that you came in at the right time.
Nitin, I feel likewise. Thank you for having us. The way when you posed that, if I could take on the media aspect of the program, I think that was one of the very defining days for me, because I have evolved so much after that as a person. And to talk about Kasturi, I think, or I think for that matter, Tara or Unicorn, all the projects under the ICF Bengaluru Charter Chapter umbrella, one quote comes to my mind, and that is from my mentor, Dr. Dayasako Ikeda. He speaks about, many in body and one in mind. So, I see here that we are many in body. We are different people, different individuals, carrying our own unique personalities, yet coming together for a common goal and a common purpose. And, it is not just about the victorious end that we are looking at. It's about the joy in the journey. So he always speaks about the joy in the journey. He says the true victory lies in the joy that you feel and experience while you are moving towards your final goal. So I think in all these three programs, what has kept me, going, and what has helped me become a better person. So for me, it has been a journey of becoming a better person, and it has been one of utmost joy. And again, I think for Kasturi again, or for that matter, all the programs that I'm associated with, it's all about what can happen when people come together with good intent, So I think human heart is so magnanimous. The human mind is, it's unstoppable. And when the spirit is there, I think we can achieve great things together. And that's what we are doing collectively, all of us here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Payal. Thank you, Sarah. And Nitin, was that unconditional? It's because they took the burden off. Was the complete appreciation for them? Okay, anyway, pulling your leg. Now we move to the final author who's here. Fun to be with, affectionate is her demeanor. Knowledgeable and assertive is her trademark manner. 4 alphabets make her name. Finding her is our game.
Lenny.
Exactly.
I should get a prize.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lenny, would you like to share a few words on the article that you have written, and perhaps a little bit about hope and optimism?
Sure. I was listening to what Payal just said about when you're in spirit, then and do things collectively, then everything happens. And I think that's so true. And so my article is also about that if you really work with your spirit, then all the challenges, all the efforts that you put in, whether it's negative mental thinking or emotional baggage or whatever it is, one is able to work with it, because the spirit is incredibly powerful. And in coaching, I think is a beautiful approach that just enables that hope to happen, right? Enables a transformation to happen. And it's also about believing in humanity, I think, in a way, right? Man has reached the moon, but we still struggle with small things in our daily life. But look at the capacity we have. And I think we can really benefit as coaches, and as well as the people that we coach, if we can believe in that and work with that. I think all is one. All is one. And the whole perspective of being of one source, but in different bodies, just different bodies, but in essence, we're one. And I think if you're able to work with that, you are able to work with us from a space of compassion, not only for others, but also for self. Sometimes we get quite impatient with ourselves as well, right? When we're trying to do something and you're not getting on track. So I think, my articles and my thought about hope is also in the process of coaching, because I really believe that it's a beautiful process. It cuts through so many barriers, whether it's barriers of, our age, barriers of our mindsets, our conditioning, our religion, our philosophy, our beliefs. It cuts through it all. It's such a leveler in terms of just being who you are as a human being and tapping into that wisdom that's there, that we most of the time not even aware of, right? And so it's really a discovery journey. And I think the better we get as being coaches, number one, discovering ourselves more and more, never get off that track, right? And engage with new things, especially if they challenge you a little bit, because you might be pleasantly surprised about yourself even. But you have to sustain it. Yeah. If you drop the ball, then sometimes the world gets on top of you. But if you're able to inspire yourself in a sustainable fashion, then I think the journey is definitely worth the ride, and you can be a fantastic coach, because if you're centered inside and you have that optimism inside, then you're unstoppable in terms of helping others. So that's the I think that's the essence of also where I come from in my article. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know what prompted this, but I feel this evening is all about reflection. Everyone's in a very different frame of mind. It's very calm, it's collected as a space. And somewhere just going down the lane of this conversation that we are bringing out with conversations is something which is very beautiful. So everyone who spoke today brought in that element of reflection, which is so powerful and so beautiful. And what we have next is a request now from my end, because Sayog is supposed to join us. And having led Unicorn, he's not able to join us today. What we understood from the campus, the life of a learner, absolutely a continuous one, but experiences in the campus never have a rerun. And having the privilege to work with these youngsters, young minds, fresh, humble, ready to learn, ready to take. So I can see that some of us have had opportunities to talk about our experience, but I can see Suresh here with us. Suresh, I've never heard you speak about Unicorn. Since you were an integral part right from the beginning, would you like to briefly tell us about your experience from Unicorn? We are just a group of friends, so don't worry. I know I caught you off guard, but I'm sure you would love to share how your experience was.
Thanks, Rashmi, for inviting me. Actually, as Mayur was talking about it as well, along with Kasturi, right? The Unicorn did definitely come up to my mind. I hope I'm audible, right? It was a very unique experience, actually, I must say, right? The young minds, in fact, when you talk about ideal self, the visioning, and many of those things, right? You see all of those embodied in those young minds. They're just coming out of college. They don't know what is going to happen next. And the kind of things they bring up to the table, it really amazes you. I said this earlier, I'm saying this again. Wish I had a coach when I just came out of the college, right? And when you have this chat with them, in fact, just today I have scheduled one more discussion with another kid from not kid, sorry, from Christ College. Though coming out of college, we always talk to them as kids because they are not actually our kids. The kind of thought process they bring in onto the table in terms of what really is making them do what they really do, right? I think that is surprising me as well. And more importantly, they bring out all the real issues. I don't find any kind of a difference between issue with whom we talk to a corporate person, right? An individual who's in a corporate world or from a student, right? It's almost the same. I think Unicorn is a great initiative to start that at that level. You know what? You're preparing the talent for the future, which I always believed in. And that's my experience. You know what? Humbling. This is the second time I've taken up more students as well. I would definitely continue with Unicorn. It actually is teaching me more than what I could probably give it out to the kids, students over there.
Powerful, Suresh. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for just being a sport and sharing this, because I remember in all our meetings also, you had beautiful things to say about your experience. So
thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for just coming forward. Yes. We have a very important gentleman with us, a man who gave his time, his effort, a man full of questions. Crisp and straightforward are his remarks. His battlefield, though, has changed today. It's always interesting to listen to him because you never know what's coming your way. Vivek Ananthakrishnan, an amazing human being who was part of the editorial team, and very interesting to talk to because he hardly smiles. So these are one of those rare moments when you can see Vivek actually smile. But I want to know, Vivek, what exactly was your journey like with the editorial team? Because now you want to step down. But can you share with us how the journey was?
Thank you, Rashmi. In fact, this is a crib from many other people who know me that I don't smile. So, but it's very I am. So, I'll just, I just quickly tell you, the editorial board was a very challenging journey, and you forgot to mention about the motto I told you. The motto is Virta and Vivek, and that's the motto from the place where I started my career. So it applies here also, and it has applied very well during this COVID period also. We required a lot of Virta and a lot of Vivek to get through this. And it also helped me to, push through this magazine, help the editorial board to push through magazine. In fact, during the start, we had Rekha, who who continued to be the backbone even for initially. And Rashmi was there, Rashmi Karan was there in the one. And then now we've got a larger team with Usha and Tejasvi and Rekha. So the greatest thing I found was that there's lots of talent, lots of stories, lots of what I would request all members would be that please put down your memories, please put down your stories, please put down your thoughts on paper, because you have a lot of a lot of things to tell people. It's okay. I mean, in case you feel you're not able to express yourself, get a person to help you out. Sit down with that person and put down your thoughts, so that the other coaches are enriched by your the kind of thoughts that you have. And I'm sure all of you with the kind of experience that you got, you will be able to tell a lot of things to the people who are there. So that's been my greatest reflection I can talk of. But it was a very, very interesting journey. I met a lot of good people. I met a lot of very intelligent, nice, positive people. So on the whole, it was very good. So thank you once again, the editorial board. Thank you, ICF Bengaluru chapter. Thank you, Rashmi. I have a lot of other work, so I may not be able to devote the kind of time that I really wanted to be able to. That's one of the reasons, guys. So thank you once again, and God bless you.
Thank you, Vivek, and all the best on your new assignments. So Usha, Tejasvi, and Lalita take over the editorial board. They have taken over. And now what I request Rekha to do, because we have promised you 8 o'clock, definitely we will finish much before that. So Rekha, if you can give us what your experience was, even putting this whole initiative together, driving it for 2 editions in spite of all the personal challenges that you had. And now, while handing it over to the new team, what exactly do you want them to remember? And what would you like to leave us with as your memory?
I think it was an idea that came in that we should bring something to the members where they can share their experience, and I think the more knowledge that we share with people, it's far more enriching. And if we as a chapter can share all our experiences and knowledge that we have with the external world, I think that would be the best to what we have all acquired in our own life journeys, right? And with that thought, the idea of the magazine actually came in, saying in India we really don't have something which the readers can take away. And that was the first initial ideas, and now I see a lot of other chapters trying to replicate what we are doing, so it feels great to lead by example at this point of time. I remember we had n number of discussions. I think MG calls it, hey, there are a lot of ping pong that happened, right? A lot of debates and a lot of uh, whether we should have it, how we should do it, what we should do. And it started with just an idea. I got support from all the members who have contributed so far, and it's been a great inspiring journey. And what it feels great is to, when you think about something that you want to do and when you see the end result of it, and that's been really enriching and satisfying to me. Over to you, Rashmi. And that's all I'd like to share. Maybe perhaps if anything anybody else would like to share.
Yeah, Usha, Lalita, Tejasvi isn't here. So Usha, Lalita, if you have anything to say.
Lalita, would you like to say something?
Is Lalita there? I don't see
I
her.
think she dropped off. I don't think she's
Right.
there yet.
All I want to say is,
You went on mute, Usha. You'll have to unmute yourself.
No, I think her connection dropped.
Yeah, Usha has. Okay, Lalita is back. Thanks to technology, we go back and forth. But the timing was perfect. So, Lalita, are you in? Okay, Lalita, can you hear us? Usha, did we lose you?
for some strange reason, every time I'm supposed to talk. That's good. All I wanted to say is that, Rekha has supported my induction into the team so strongly. And I have only shadowed her. And it has been a very powerful learning process. I hope I can be a patch on what she has done in the last 2 editions. And thank you. And it's been a very easy induction with everybody supporting and helping and working together. And Rekha has promised to continue with the mentoring even after she steps back, and it's only for personal reasons that she's not wanting to take primary responsibility. I'm going to really lean on her for that. There is so much that Rekha does which I cannot do. We are very different people, and so it's very important that we work together, and I continue to seek her support. I'll also be reaching out to more members to join the team, because we are now a very small team and we're looking at senior, accomplished people to share and guide and help us in this journey as we move forward. Thanks, Rashmi. That's what I wanted to share.
Okay, Lalita, would you like to say something? Because I saw you enter the room. Is your connection good enough to say something? We'd like to welcome you.
I think she has dropped again.
Okay. Well, hope is knowing that our potential is limitless, the future completely open, and we are writing it moment to moment, said Pema Chodron, which is very true. And on that note, I request Dr. Winston to give us the vote of thanks.
Dr. Winston, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I have. Thank you. Thank you. On this occasion, I think it's correct for me to congratulate Rekha for the brilliant job that she's done. I think we wouldn't be here today speaking about conversations if she didn't steer the boat. And thank you very much, Rekha, on behalf of ICF, for the brilliant job that you have done and bringing everyone together like this. We wish you all the very best, and we look forward to your keeping in touch with us again. I'd also like to thank Abhijit for all what he's spoken about optimism. I think life is all about optimism, but we need to be focused. Thanks to Gauri for having mentioned about, and Rashmi mentioning about the smile that we all have to have, very, very important in our life. And MG reflecting on his parents, the value of parents, absolutely. I think that we can second that. And to be positive, to be desirable, favorable. And thanks to Nitin for his words of wisdom, of loving kindness. I think that's a very, very important thing we all need to have, to love one another. And Payal spoke about empathy, very, very important thing that we all have to empathize one another. And Sarah, thanks for you mentioning about the positive partnerships. Yeah, truly, there has been a positive partnership with the organizations and the vulnerability that you touched on. Lenny, bringing in the spirit aspect. Very true. If we don't have the right spirit, we will not be here this evening to enjoy this journey and to make this journey of hope and joy. Suresh, speaking about the unique experience, wonderful, a unique experience for each one of us gathered today, 28 of us having been here. Thank you, Vivek, for steering the boat. We wish you all the very best and we look forward to seeing more of you. And thanks a lot for all your good work and getting pen to paper, and we were able to publish this. And now the other chapters are going to follow what you started. Well, that brings us to the end of the day, and I think it's been a wonderful evening. A very, very nice evening. Let us all go smiling.
Yep.
Thank you.
I wanted to just share one quote from a very famous book, Man's Search for Meaning, where Viktor Frankl, who's an Holocaust survivor, he says when the last of the human freedoms is taken away, man still has one freedom, the choice to respond to the situation the way he wants. And that is called hope. He survived the whole camp and he went on to write this book. So I thought this is one thing we should end on.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's
Thank
a good,
you, Rashmi.
very good finale. The two Rashmis. Thanks a lot.
To every one of you for staying on. All the very best.
And here is our magazine for this edition, and it'll be mailed and shared with everyone on WhatsApp soon. So this is the cover page of our magazine, and I'll just flip a few pages, and it is also available on our website as well. So you could share with people that you are connected with to our website as well for them to see our magazine.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Good night.
Bye.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.